Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we are going to monogram a hoodie or a sweatshirt, or I don't know what you call it in other places, but we call them hoodies. Now what I'm going to do zips up the front. So we're going to be doing like the chest monogram, just the side monogram, and we're going to use some glitter heat transfer vinyl. Now if you've not tried this stuff, it is amazing. I can't wait to show you. And I got mine from expressionsvinyl.com, and I'll leave a link to that below. Now, the first thing we're going to do to get started is we're going to make our monogram in PicMonkey.com. And that is this address here at the top, PicMonkey.com. Now, the reason I like to use PicMonkey is because it gives you a lot of options. You can take a photograph and put in here and work on it. You can edit photographs. You can design something. You can even create collages. But today we're going to design a project. Notice when I hover over the design area, I get these canvases that pop up at the bottom. You get all kinds of options. Facebook cover, 4x6, 5x7, 8x10, some custom stuff you want to do. But I'm going to choose this square. I don't need a very big piece for making a monogram, so that's what I'm going to choose. Now when PicMonkey opens, it takes me to this area where there is the canvas color. This way I can change this background if I want to any color on the chart, even change the shades of it. But I don't need to do that. White works just fine for me, because what I'm going to be doing, I won't even use the background. If for some reason you needed a transparent canvas where your image was sort of floating with nothing behind it, you can click transparent and you'll get a transparent canvas. Now that's not going to matter for me for what I'm doing. I'm going to have to make mine transparent when I take it to the Cricut. So we're just going to click cancel here because I don't need to change that, and we'll move on. Now I'm going to be working with the fonts today. You'll notice this little area here has a T. That's where you get your fonts. Now PicMonkey is notorious for the font loading to be a little slow. I do not know why, but it always does this. And I've actually seen people complain about this online. So you notice how slow that loaded, but it's still loaded. We're good. We can wait a second or two. Now today I'm going to use Emily's Candy for my font. There's one thing I want to tell you, or a couple things. These fonts are all the public fonts that are on PicMonkey. Now just because they're here doesn't mean they don't have licenses for different uses. Commercial use, free use, they may not be free use, especially if you're going to sell them. So here's what I suggest. Pick the one you want to use, take that title and go into Google and search and find out what the license is for that particular font that you want to use. I have already looked into Emily's Candy, and it's a free font, which sometimes doesn't mean anything more than you can get the font for free, but if you try to use it for commercial use, then there might be a problem. I'm not going to be selling this product or offering it. I'm not going to, sell this image to anybody or anything like that. I'm just going to use it for my own personal use. And so I'm not going to worry about that today. But if you were to use these to sell, please make sure the fonts you're using are commercial-free fonts, royalty-free fonts, or you have the license to sell them, because you can also pay a little license fee and use those. All that is so confusing. You have to do a good bit of research to understand it. But we're going to do the simple part today, and we're going to click Emily's Candy as the font we're going to use. Now I'm going to click up here on the Add Text box. We're actually going to add 3 text boxes. The first one, I'm going to put my last name initial in, and notice how it popped up with the Emily's Candy font already there. Watch what happens when I click one, and I messed up. I clicked out of it. Let's go back to it. There it is. So I'm going to put in an A. Notice that the Emily's font is not chosen. No big deal. Just highlight that and click Emily's Candy, and it comes right back. Now I'm going to add one more text box, and this one is for my middle initial. So I'm going to stick a G in there. Now I'm going to move this around just for a second. Grab this one. Okay, it's good. Now I'm going to click on my H. I need to change the size of it. Now this is not where I'll be creating the size that's actually going to go on my project. This is where I'll be creating the size of the letters to fit together to create the monogram. Now I've been playing around with this, and I know that I like for this middle piece to be 500. Just makes it easy for me to see it, use it, and work with it. So I'm going to put that in this area. Now I'm going to click the A. And in my playing around recently, I've discovered that if I make this A 3.75, it gives me a pretty good size to put next to this H. Now you can drag this, you can change the size by pulling on the little arrows, you can change this to any size you want, you can even change the size by using this little slider here. Now I'm going to work on the G, and the G is in 100, and it's 111 right now, but I know I need it to be 350. Now I only know this because I've played around. If you don't do this in these sizes, you kind of get a skewed, the G and the A look so different if you don't start with those sizes. Now I'm going to play with this a little bit more. Notice how much longer this G is than the A. It makes sense, but it looks a little bit funny. And this font is made to be a little more whimsical. So it is not going to be perfect, but it'll be close. I'm going to grab this A and I'm going to stretch it just a little bit. Now, by stretching it, it not only stretches the A and makes it a little bit larger, but it makes it wider and taller at the same time. So I do not want to do too much of that, just enough to be a little more pleasing to the eye. So that's where he ended up. Let me see what number that went to. So that went to 394 for the A. For me, I never know exactly where I'm going to land, so I'll start with one number and then just play with it to get where I need it to be. Now, I'm using a Mac computer, and because of that, I can hit the buttons Command, Shift, and 4. And when I do that, I get this little cursor on the page. With that cursor, I can click and drag a box over my image, and it will take a photograph. If you're using a Word computer or a Windows computer, you can do the same thing with the snipping tool. If you're not sure how to use the snipping tool, just go online to YouTube and look up snipping tool tutorials, and you'll find all kinds of information on that. So now that we've created our monogram and taken a photograph of it and it is on our desktop, it's time to upload the image into Cricut Design Space. And all you do here is sign in to Cricut Design Space at Cricut.com and go ahead and log in. And so we'll just put our password in. And we're ready. Now I have a new project already open here, so I'm just going to go to Upload. And I'm going to choose Basic Upload because this is a very simple image, just black and white. Continue to step 1. Now I'm going to Browse. This will take me to my desktop, and I can grab this one, which is the one I just did, the latest one, and tell it to open. Now I'm going to choose Simple Image. Like I said, it's not very detailed. If you ever notice that you are using the Simple Image uploader and it doesn't look very crisp and clean, you can go ahead and do it on the complex image and you'll get a better look. But we're just going to do this because, like I said, it's just black and white. All right, now notice all the white in the background here. The blue check mark is your canvas you're working with here, and this is the transparent part. But this part is white, and we want to get rid of that, because if we don't, and I turn the eye on to see the preview of the cut, all I'll get is the square around the white edge, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to turn the preview off, and then I'm going to go to my tool, which is my trimming tool. Put the cursor inside the first white edge and click, and that takes away a lot of the white. And now inside the A we need to, and also inside the G. Now I'm not going to take this one out just yet because I want to show you. If you do the preview again, you'll see, oops, we need to take something out right here. So always do your preview just to check, and that way you'll know. Now continue to step 3, which is simply saving it. And I have done this one a couple of times, so I'm just going to put in test and save it, and then I can go delete it later because I don't really need a name. And now we can grab it and insert it. Now we're ready to make this the size we want for our actual project. And I happen to know, because of where I'm putting this on my hoodie, I want it to be about 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches, kind of almost like a circle, although our image really is a square. All right, so if you notice over here, this is offering me the print icon. I don't want to print, I want to cut. But if I click on this icon to change it to cut, I don't get the opportunity to do that because it is grayed out. The reason for that is this image is not flat, so this image is flat. We need to unflatten it. And by doing that, it will allow us the other options, which are to score, to write, or to cut. And I want to cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now, this is a cut image, and I'm ready to resize it. To resize, we're going to go up here to the Edit option. That'll open our little edit page. And I'm going to go ahead and open this lock. I usually open that lock anyway because I'm going to mess with both sides. If you don't, you kind of get all the dimensions are moved at the same time. They kind of keep the proportions. I don't want that. I'm going to do them separate. So I'm going to put in 3.25 in this top one and hit enter or return on your keyboard. Then we'll go to the bottom and put in the same dimensions, 3.25, and hit enter. Now, I don't love that. Now that I'm looking at it, I think it's a little too tall and looks a little distorted. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change this one to 3 and just see if I like it better. A little bit. I'm going to go a little bit smaller. We're getting there. Now, I can keep messing with the height here, or I can just go right here and mess with the little buttons. And let me show you this. If you move this button, you're only going to move your height up and down. It won't move anything else, okay? So you don't get distorted. If you move this button, you're only going to mess with your width, side to side. And I'm going to go back to 3.25 since I know that's where I wanted to be with that. Right, about there. We're going to stop there. All right, and now then, if I use this button here, it's going to change this side and this side. So it's going to change the width and the height. I just want to adjust the height. So I'm going to grab it and change it to be about like that. And then I just like to scoot them up in the corner. There's no reason for that. Now it's time to cut, so we can go to our machine and get it cut out. Okay, so we're at the Cricut, and this is the material we'll be cutting today. Look at that yummy shimmer. Notice it's shiny on this side, and it's matte on this side. You want to cut with the matte side facing up. This is the part that's going to adhere down to your fabric. And this is the part that's going to act as your transfer tape, okay? So I've already put it on my mat, and I put the dull side up, the shiny side down. So now I'm at my computer screen. I've got my my mat loaded here on the computer, and my screen is up, and I'm ready to click go on my screen. So I'm going to click go. It's going to take me to the screen where it's going to show me what we're going to be cutting. Now here's what's important. This is an iron-on. Be sure you click mirror image. Because we're cutting on the adhesive side, which is the matte side of our material, we have to make sure we cut it in mirror image, or we'll just have a nice glittery monogram and we won't be able to iron it down anywhere. So I've mirror imaged it, and I'm going to tell it to go. Now, one of the cool things I love about the Explore and this software is that it will tell me to change the dial setting on my machine. It will remind me that I need to tell the Cricut what material I'm using. So the Cricut itself will recognize that I've already loaded the mat, and then it will tell me to set the material. I already have mine set to iron on because that's the last thing I cut. And now we can just click this flashing button and watch it cut away. It's through cutting. It's time to unload the mat. You can do that by either pressing unload on your machine or finish on your screen. And we're cut out. Now we'll go to my table and we'll weed this and get ready to iron it on. So this is the piece that we cut, and I'm going to peel this away, and it will come off in one piece because we cut an iron on. So it doesn't cut all the way through the material. It leaves that transfer tape on. So now I'm going to remove our little cutting mat. Now we get to weed this away. Now I have found that this part can be a little fidgety. It's one of those things where you got to kind of take your time, and this material is so thick. The glitter makes it feel almost I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels like a gel coating. It's very interesting. So you can see that this is coming off of our transfer tape. That's what it's going to leave behind, is the transfer tape. And as I pull this, you'll start to see the image that we cut stay behind. Now, I've not used the glitter before. This is my first time using the glitter. So we're going to see how this does. I did use the foil kind last night, and it is done exactly the same as this. So I'm concerned I'm not seeing my A here. Am I to it yet? Yes, I am. Let's see what's happening. Okay. Looks like I was pulling that one away too, so I need to be careful about that and put that guy back down. The glitter is very gritty once you get into it. So I'm feeling all of that glitter kind of pull away. I hope that changes when we iron it on our shirt. I'm not big on loose glitter, y'all know that. I try to cut these really close to the actual size that I'm going to make my image so that I don't waste a lot of the material. Because, I mean, it's not terribly expensive, surprisingly. You get a lot out of a piece. But I try to save every single last little stitch I can save. Well, let's see if this will hold my A down or if I need to help it here. Looks like I need to help it along. Because it's not releasing. Oh, I'm not to it yet. That would help. Very hard to see, y'all. Very hard. Okay, so now I've gotten to it. Okay, there we go. Ooh. I really am trying not to disturb the image. Even though this is a sticky tape and I can stick it right back down, I still don't want to disturb it any more than I have to. But we're getting it. Now I need to come and clean out the center of this H. If you're going to use a tool like this sharp tool, make sure you keep it in the area that you want, that's not the iron-on portion. Make sure you put it into, you know, like for the center of this A, you want to make sure you clear the A edge and get it in there to the iron-on portion so we don't disturb the image. And now for the G. It is very hard to see your cut lines with this product. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that for you. Very, very, very hard to see it. So I'm just kind of grabbing at it and peeling it back till it comes up. Can you see how hard I'm pulling that? Pretty hard. Okay. Has not released yet. There it goes. Okay. Now it looks like we're ready to iron it on. Let me show you what we're working with here. Can you see how much glitter is still on our transfer tape? That makes me very nervous. I don't think this will iron down to our fabric because the adhesive is actually behind the letters, but I'm going to go straight to the project and see how it does because it's just a little cheap hoodie that I got. By the way, I got it at Walmart. I've had mine for a little while, but last night I bought some more they had for $7. So if you're looking for some cheap hoodies, a good way to go. And now I'm going to take this to my iron. So this is my hoodie, and see this zipper? That's the opposite side zipper. That's not the zipper that we're actually going to be working on. We're working on this side, the left side chest. And this is where my iron-on will go. So I'm going to place that down, and I'm hoping that's straight. You really need like a really good spot so you can kind of see if you're squared up. I'm doing this in my craft room, so it's a little bit awkward. But I've stuck that down, and now I have a piece of flannel fabric that was from a sewing project, and I'm just going to put that on top just to give me a little barrier. And my iron is on as hot as it will go with no steam. And now I'm going to let this guy heat. A heat press would probably work really well for the iron-on material because I'm not sure, I mean for the glitter material, I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take. But I did notice yesterday when I did the foil project that you need to let it cool off completely before you peel off the transfer tape. So we're just going to iron this down for a while, do some testing, just kind of see how it's looking and just keep going. One thing I want to mention too is I'm doing this on a countertop surface. I'm not doing this on an ironing board. I don't believe that the ironing board holds the heat well enough because you really want that heat to kind of sit in there. But be sure whatever you iron it on is a surface that is safe for ironing on. You don't want to do this on, you know, from like a countertop or a card table or anything that's got something that'll melt or burn underneath it. Now I'm just going to take a peek. It's been about 35 seconds or so that I was doing that. And everything still looks intact. It is very hot. So I think I'm going to let it cool for a second before I try to peel that away and see what we get. While that's cooling, I thought I'd show you the one I did with the metallic iron-on. Look how beautiful that is. I am in love with this. This is a black hoodie that I got at Walmart for like $9. It's very thin. It's not a traditional hoodie, so I can wear this through the spring. But do you see how gorgeous that is? And I'm going to show you the material I used to get that effect. Still letting this one cool underneath. I want it to be really, really cool. So this is the material that is the metal iron-on, or the gold, or the metallic iron-on. Do you see how beautiful the shimmer is? Notice the back is matte, and this is the shimmer, so it works the same way as that I just showed you with the other one. But I love that product. Now, depending on how this glitter turns out, we'll see which one I like best. But it's probably going to be the foil because I feel like some of this glitter may come loose. It's pretty cool. Let's do a test and see what we get. It's coming off, but I don't like it just yet. I'm going to do another heat pass on it. I felt like it pulled up. It is coming off the transfer tape, but I felt like it might have pulled up a tiny bit. And what I want to do is do the safe, you know, not the sorry method, which is do it more than you need to. But I don't want to melt it too much, so we're going to do this one more time for about the same amount of time. I'm going to let it cool completely, and then we'll come back and peel it off. So it's pretty cool, guys. And what I noticed is when I stuck my finger underneath to kind of do a little test, it really started to release, and it was doing a good job. It wasn't sticking to the transfer tape at all. Look how pretty. And I'm just keeping an eye to make sure that everything's sticking as I'm pulling it. My word, that is gorgeous. Look at this. Look at that shimmer and shine. Now, I do not know if you have to do this. I'm going to check all the edges, see what it feels like. Feels amazing. No glitter is coming off on my hands. Happy about that. I'm going to hit it one more time. I may not should do this. We'll find out together. This is the flannel piece. A little bit of heat just to double check it. But I'm loving how this looks. The shimmer, the glittery shimmerness is beautiful. Wow, guys. I cannot wait to wear this one. Look at that. I'm in love. So there's the glitter iron-on, and it is amazing. There's no lifted edges, nothing. And the glitter is not coming off. No glitter. None. I'm very happy about that, because I was afraid. Y'all know me and the loose glitter stuff. So there is the glitter one. Let me bring back over the metallic one. So I've got them laid side by side. This is the glitter one. This is the metallic one. Can you see how that shimmers and catches the light? Guys, this is awesome. I'm excited. What possibilities open up for us, right? Imagine gifts. I wish I'd had this machine before Christmas, right? All right, I'll put a link to Expressions Vinyl below so you can check out these products. And I'll be bringing you more projects just like this using your Cricut Explore and these wonderful iron-on things. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.